There are many things that you can think of that could be beneficial to a newborn.
Being cold isn't very often at the top of that list, if on it at all.
But there are circumstances when being treated with hypothermia could be the best thing for your newborn bundle of squidginess.
Fun Fact Friday, week 148.
Hypothermia can protect newborn brains.
Hello!
Hello and welcome back to another Fun Fact Friday.
There is a condition that is linked to over 20% of all neonatal deaths worldwide.
And according to the World Health Organization, is the 5th leading cause of death in children below the age of 5.
This condition is known as HIE, which is short for Hypoxic-Ischemic encephalopathy.
Hypoxic means lack of oxygen.
Ischemic means restricting blood flow and
Encephalopathy means that it affects the brain.
so, in essence, HIE is a lack of blood and oxygen to the brain.
This condition may also be referred to as oxygen deprivation at birth, birth asphyxia, or fetal oxygen deprivation.
HIE's effects are wide and varied, as are the causes.
However, in most cases of HIE, there are indications that there is an increased risk before birth.
Roughly 1.6 births in every 10,000 are affected by HIE without prior abnormalities being evident.
HIE effects will vary depending on whether the child has mild, moderate, or severe symptoms.
Many with mild symptoms can lead an uninhibited life, whereas those affected by severe HIE may have a shortened lifespan.
The effects of HIE may include developmental delays, epilepsy, cognitive issues, motor skills delays, and neurodevelopmental delays.
HIE is thought to be responsible for 10 to 20% of all cases of cerebral palsy.
The true severity of HIE doesn't become evident until a child reaches 3 to 4 years of age,
By which time there is little chance of effective treatment and the only real course of action is to manage the symptoms.
But a relatively new, very well studied course of treatment has shown to have incredibly positive results in minimising the damage caused by HIE.
The treatment is known as hypothermia therapy and has shown to have an almost doubling of the chance of survival of those affected by HIE.
During this treatment, a baby's temperature is reduced by as much as 4 degrees Celsius and is achieved by using whole body cooling or selective cooling via a cooling cap.
There are 2 stages to HIE. The initial period when the brain is starved of oxygen and or blood, and then a secondary period when the normally oxygenated blood resumes flow. This secondary part is known as reperfusion.
When the initial injury occurs, it causes damage. Those cells that were damaged then go on to release toxins, and those toxins are the cause of the second stage.
The second stage begins after oxygen and or blood flow is restored, and it can carry on causing damage for up to 72 hours.
The damage caused by this second stage is known as reperfusion injury, and it's during this stage that hypothermia therapy comes into play.
By cooling an affected baby, you can slow down its metabolic rate and give the cells a chance to recover. This reduces the severity of reperfusion injury.
The process of cooling lasts up to 72 hours, at which point they are slowly warmed back up to normal temperatures.
Fortunately, treatment using hypothermia for HIE is pretty close to optimal in a clinical setting, and thus the chances of it reducing HIE's secondary damage is high.
But it is only treating the secondary damage and cannot effectively treat the damage caused by the first stage.
To do this, science is looking towards augmenting hypothermia therapy with other treatments, including stem cell therapy, xenon gas treatment, the use of hormones produced by the kidneys, and other treatments using melatonin, anticonvulsants, and IGF-1.
Isn't it amazing that we can change the lives of so many affected by HIE by just keeping them cold? But this is only possible if treatment is quick enough.
The most critical part in treating HIE with hypothermia is the speed in which it is delivered.
Those treated within 3 hours were shown to respond well and cell death was massively reduced.
But delay that to 5.5 hours and only a partial recovery was evident, with little effect on cell death.
And when delayed to 8.5 hours after initial injury, there were no improvements seen with hypothermia therapy.
It is evident that early intervention and swift treatment is key to stopping damage to the affected brain of those infants impacted by HIE.
And because there are often clear indications before birth that HIE could be a factor, hypothermia therapy could help far more babies affected by that condition.
Hello and welcome back to another fun... Oh no! Oh, that's
Dude,
wrong.
You took my line.
But that's my line.
It's not.
We've mixed it up.
Mixing it up.
Hypoxic-Ischemic encephalopathy.
However, in most cases, the true severity of HIV doesn't. But a relatively new web. Let me just take a breath.
Imagine you're someone on a TV show that you like.
Okay, yeah.
It's Tomorrow's World.
What?
Did you never watch Tomorrow's World?
What the f is that?
You never watched Tomorrow's World?
No.
What?
Okay, well, let's not
It's
get
like
into this
the
debate
best
now.
programme
We
in
haven't
the
got time
80s
for
and
this
90s.
debate now. Let's do it. Are you ready?
Oh, man.
Right, you ready?
I can't believe I
Jesus.
married someone who never
What is
watched
it?
Tomorrow's
What is
World.
it all about? What is the,
It's like
what is the hype
the
about?
future. It was like,
I'm gonna
it was a
sneeze
programme about things that were coming in the future technologies.
I don't live in the future. I live in the present, man.
Thank you for joining us for another Fun Fact Friday. We need your help to plant more small acorns and reach more people.
So please like, comment and share to show you care. And if you are on YouTube, please subscribe and get alerts for a new fun fact from us every Friday.
We'll see you next week.